Welcome back to video 3. This will be the final part in the 3 parts of my little small series, which was part 1 was obviously calories, going through all the sort of way that you should sort of go about finding calories, how I went about it, and video 2 was going around all the consistency slash sort of time. This you need to give it consistency. You got to be consistent with it and give it time. So this is the 3rd video, and this will be obviously the 3rd video. So this will be part 3, and that will be going to be somewhere here. Movement. I like to move it, move it. Yes, so you need to move it. But yes, so movement, it's what I'd class as like the sort of the 3rd part, but it's the part that you don't have to do straight off the bat. You don't have to just go, right, I want to lose weight, I want to get fit. And when you think oh, I'll get fit, it doesn't mean just go out and run. Obviously a lot of you can't run. I can't run. And when I was bigger, I definitely couldn't run. So the quickest I'd move would be just to get to the fridge, basically, get to the snacks. So let's be real now, come on. But yeah, when I say movement, it just literally means being sort of very conscious about how sort of active you're being or not being, which is usually the case when you're just not doing a lot, because you get into the cycle of doing less and less and less, and then you just don't do hardly anything, and you just find any excuse not to move or just put it off till later. So for myself, I already got my diet sort of locked in, was a good sort of year or so into it, lost a good amount of weight, a good few pound, a good massive amount of weight. Then I started to just, I knew to myself that I want to keep this up for life, and I want to, I want to make healthier habits just to keep the weight off and just be naturally just normal, just to move about more and do more things. So I just started doing more walks and sort of just being more conscious to move about more, to literally get off the sofa more often, just randomly walk throughout the house, because that was my first sort of main movements, really. Yes, I went out very rarely, but I didn't want to go out at all. I didn't want to do much at all. I just wanted to move about when sort of as little as possible. But then obviously I need to change that mindset and just get into like, well, I need to do this. And then the more I slowly sort of did, the more I found I could do, because my body sort of got used to it and sort of, I would say not enjoyed it, because I had loads of aches and pains, but this is obviously in a sense like growing pains. You need to get used to doing it again. So your body needs to get used to walking, get used to carrying your weight, because at that point I was still very heavy. So, you know, getting into that habit of just being more active, and luckily in my house I've got stairs, so I've just used the stairs as often or more often than obviously I like to have done. So, you know, I've made an effort to at least every hour or two go up and down the stairs. And then I remember I made it a thing every now and again to do it 2 or 3 times. And when I say go up the stairs, you're talking about, you know, 3 sets of say 8 steps. So there's a good, you know, getting on for 20 steps one way. If I do it 2 or 3 times, I can get up to sort of 50, 60 steps, literal steps, not just walking steps upstairs. So that really got me puffing. So when you say get active, it doesn't mean go out and go for a run or go for a big massive walk and do, you know, 10k steps, or just, you don't have to do that. You know, this is just doing something that you're going to be able to stick with consistently for a long time. So it goes back to sort of video 2, where you have to stay consistent with what you're doing and make it enjoyable to a sense, because you can't do this thing, oh, it's just going to be so easy. It's not, you know, you just need to do it. There's the golden have to do's, and this is why I've put these 3 videos together, because these are the main 3 things that I stuck to, and I still do stick to, but these days it's a lot easier, because it's just I've done it so long, it's just natural to do these things. You know, look at my calories, you know, just stay consistent with it, because clearly I have been staying consistent. I've given it a long time, and I do the movement slash I now go gym. I do this, you know, most of the time, you know, a good 5 or 6 days of the week I'm at the gym. So at the minute it's 6 days, but I can get into all that sort of current stuff in another video. But this is sort of like where I started and how you could potentially take some of the steps to sort of implement it into your own sort of journey, your own life, and if at that point you're not too sure, you know, how to go about, sort of how to start, how to get going. If you sort of see the video 1 and 2, and then you're sort of on this step video. Thank you for watching all 3, by the way. If you have watched, you know, it means a lot. Thank you. And yeah, so basically, I just got into the habit of just being more active and doing more stuff, and then, you know, I've done that for a few months, and then fast forward a few more months after that of just getting into the habit. I then sort of set myself goals to go outside, go little walks here and there, small walks. You're talking 10, 20-minute walks, where they were really testing, because walking indoors and walking outdoors are very different things. I'm sure you know. If you know, you know. So then fast forward again a bit more time, getting more used to walking and moving and actually just being outdoors and doing more things. I then decided I want to sort of track what I'm doing. So then this is where I then bought a Fitbit. This is my third Fitbit, but the original one, that's when I first got a Fitbit. And I'll try and put a little video up somewhere. I might clip it in here.
I'm actually doing that thing you do, you know, you breathe heavy. Not that thing. Walking. I'm actually walking.
That's when I was sort of getting more sort of filming Insta stuff, where I was just filming a few of my walks, and you could see still pretty big then, because by that point I've lost probably sort of half my weight, yeah, give or take. And yeah, just getting into moving more, very out of breath, you can see. Yeah, I wanted to just track and see sort of like, oh, I want to do X amount of steps, because rather than go, I want to do a certain amount of time, when you've got a step count, that to me was a bit more of a number where I can sort of, every step literally gets me to that point, rather than sort of like, oh, I've done 20 minutes. I mean, what if you stopped for 2 minutes? You think, oh, yeah, I've done 20 minutes, even though I was standing still for 5 minutes. You know, you see what I'm saying? So I wanted to sort of test myself and just really push. And I remember when I got it, I was like, right, first 2,000 steps. I was like, yeah, 3,000 steps. And for a good while, I was doing, you know, 3,000, 4,000 steps. Got it up to 5 now and again, but then I really, you know, gave it a few more weeks, few more months, and I remember I got it up to sort of 7,000 for a little while, and then I remember one day I just went crazy, and I thought, you know, I'm going to really try and do 10,000 steps, something I thought I'd never be able to even dream of doing, let alone actually be about to do it. And I remember when I was around my local park, I just said to myself, I'm going to do it, I'm going to keep going and keep going. I had to stop a couple of times, yes, because I'm a marathon runner / walker. And I remember I first see that 10,000 steps, and it was a moment where I was like, wow, from where I've started to now, it was a very emotional type, I don't know, it was just a weird feeling of I've done something where the sort of, again, the unachievable, where I'm like, I've done it. I've set myself this goal all this time ago, but it's taken me a long time to get there, getting that video too. I've stayed consistent with it, I've given it plenty of time. I've just stuck with it, keep going through all the pain, through all the sort of, oh, I can't be bothered days, because there's many of them. You know, this is where you have to just keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. Even the days you don't want to do it, you have to do it. So for me, that was a very big moment, because then from that point, being able to walk that much, I found myself always sort of getting to 5,000 or 6,000 steps regularly throughout the week, over the months. And then fast forward the years, it was, you know, these days especially, I'm doing sort of 8,000 to 12,000 steps daily without even really trying at all. Yeah, some days you think, oh, I've only done 6,000 steps, but I'm like, I've only done 6,000 steps without trying. I think back a few years ago, I struggled to even do 3,000 steps, 2,000 steps, even 1,000 steps when I first started. So, you know, you've got to sort of let that sink in, and don't get too sort of deterred by like, oh, I've only done this, I've only done that. If you're making efforts, and you clearly have made massive steps forward, literal steps forward, don't worry. Don't compare yourself to other people. You know, yes, look at other people for like motivation, inspiration, for example, but just use that as a guide. Don't use it as like, right, I've got to do that, I've got to be that. You just use it as like, right, I like the idea of this, I'm going to try and do that, and do it your own way. But as long as you're doing something that's literally getting you to the next point, go for it, because that is what it's all about. Every person's journey is individual. You know, it might some similarities, some things may look similar, sound similar, but They're literally catered individually for you, you know. So that for me is how I sort of literally got started moving. And movement for me was a very important factor, because you can't just, you know, like that saying, you can't out-train a bad diet, because that is very true. Because you can't think, oh yeah, I'm going to walk so X amount of, you know, steps or minutes and I can eat more food. In a sense, yes, but in reality that doesn't really work out like that. Unless you're a marathon runner and you're doing 26 miles a day, or you're walking 5 or 6 hours a day, you'll probably burn an extra 2,000 or 3,000 calories pretty easily. That on top of your maintenance, you could probably get away with a lot of calories, but you ain't gonna have time to eat them calories because you're busy walking. You see what I'm saying? So if you want to walk that much, you're not gonna be able to eat very much unless you're walking and eating, which is kind of hard if you're really putting a lot of effort into walking, because you're breathing quite heavy. So yeah, that is that part of the sort of getting going. And yeah, you just need to just take it very slowly and just don't rush, because over time you'll find it'll get easier. But you've got to just get out of the comfort zone when it does get easy, because if you just stay there, you're not really gonna make much progress, because you're sort of, you know, it's easy to get to a certain point and be like, yeah, this is good. No, get to that point, sort of, yeah, it's good, keep moving. You've got to keep moving. And then this is where I then started working out, because I knew I wanted to build build muscle, get stronger, carry myself about better. And I've always had an interest in sort of lifting stuff, carrying stuff when I was younger, and obviously I got bigger, I couldn't do much about that at all. The only thing I was big and heavy and carrying was myself, barely. So, you know, I physically wanted to change my body in a different way. And again, I'll do another video on this somewhere down the line, because it was like, I'm active, I'm moving, my heart's pumping, I'm getting a good bit of cardio, walking. And then I was just doing home workouts really, where I had a big bottle, a big sort of 2 litre bottle of water, or an empty one obviously, and then I had filled up with coins, pennies, 2p's, 5p's, over the months and years, and that was just one that I had in the corner. I've always sort of then think, oh, how heavy is that? So then I weighed it one day, and it was around 19 kilos, 20 kilos, just under. And I said, oh, because this was around the lockdown time, so there wasn't a lot of weights about, so you can't really buy it. If you know, in the UK, dumbbells and weights were very hard to come by. They were literal gold dust. You could buy gold easier than a dumbbell, you know. So I was using that to do sort of bit of rows. I remember bent over rows on my bed. I remember I was rowing with the weight. I think about 3 or 4 sets of like sort of 10, because it wasn't super heavy, because it's hard to hold it because it's a big bottle. But I remember I then tried to put it in a bag, but obviously the bag was starting to rip. You know, got to make it work, sort of thing. Overhead press with it. I'd done sort of chest press, not really with the weight because it wasn't heavy enough. I did it for a little bit. 20 kilos is not a lot after a while. So I was doing sort of in a sense push-ups, but not like fully on the floor, sort of on my knees. I might try and do a little video one day of what I used to actually do. Obviously I can't be myself how I was, but I will do a little workout and show you sort of exactly what I did back then to what I do now. And I think I've got little pictures and clips on Insta and stuff that I'll have to sort of try and clip in here and there on the next video to show sort of my workouts from where they started to what I'm doing now. But this goes back to what I'm saying about everyone's individual. They've got to find what works for them. And for me, I got to a certain point where I was like, right, yes, this is getting me results. I found some dumbbells, so then I got some dumbbells at home and pushed to the next level again. See, I'm not getting too comfortable with it. I was like, right, this is working, this is good. I'm making progress. I want to keep stepping it up. I want to keep pushing. So this is, like I said, I always wanted to just keep going, and I was seeing results. I was feeling results. I was feeling stronger, feeling fitter. Started going to the gym when I was allowed to, lockdown. And then I found, yeah, this was good. I liked it. And then lockdown came again. So then the gym shut, and I had a perfect opportunity to be like, oh yeah, I don't have to go gym now for however long. Lockdown is lockdown. You know, I felt like it went on for years, but I had sort of, again, the choice of either an excuse to push or an excuse just to go, lockdown, which a lot of people did. They just chose to become lockdown. You know, just thought, oh well, it's all right. I'll just eat everything, drink, be lazy. Not me. I chose the opposite. I chose that time to push even harder. There was more time for me to do what I wanted to do, and more than I felt. It felt more. It felt, you know, I dug real deep. It felt like it was a moment for me to push even harder. So I did, and then went back to the gym when they finally reopened, which felt like years. A few months later, and I found my strength and everything is increased because I went back to the home workouts during the lockdown time, and I was again another spur on moment where I was like, wow, I am making crazy progress. I'm getting stronger. You know, it's hard to kind of see physically because of the loose skin. I still carry a bit of weight with me. Even to today, you know, for me to see progress, it's a bit difficult because I have loose skin. And yeah, this is what I'm saying. You just need to keep doing it over a long period of time, but just keep pushing yourself. And this is why you need to try and implement movement as part of a healthy lifestyle, because when the diet stops, you know, it doesn't ever really stop. You know, you're never going to be in a deficit or a diet forever. You know, you're going to be some form of diet because you're always going to, you know, be very conscious of your food, especially coming from a very bad habits and very bad way of eating. You know, you've always got to be very conscious and very careful of what you're eating and how much you're eating. But this is why I always say take your time with doing this, because you learn a lot along the whole way. And these are the important steps where you might not realise it, but they make a massive difference over the long period of time. When you get to certain points, it becomes automatic. It becomes second nature to know that food's better than that food, or that many calories are roughly in that amount of food, and you can make better choices over time. And yes, you're going to get a lot, going to get wrong a lot of times, but again, you keep trying and keep learning, and over time you'll be surprised of how much you do know. And again, for myself, this is what I learned, and from that now, there's a lot of things that I know. This is second nature, where I haven't really got to look and worry about things, because I've learned a lot along the years, and over the sort of 5 or 6 years, you know, it's been a long learning curve, and even today I'm still learning little things to learn here. Obviously, I'm learning a lot more about sort of the bodybuilding, sort of muscle building and keeping strong and that side of things. But I also keep very in check with the diet side of things. Like, you know, I always understand sort of nutrients in foods, and I get a lot more in depth with, rather than understanding what calories. I understand fully what calories are, what they do, how much to have. That's the key to sort of weight loss, weight gain. Calories in, calories out. That is it. But it's up to you if you want to take it further, like I did, to then, you know, pursue, you know, changing your body in the better way. So that is basically the gist of the movement part 3. You should really, you know, once you've got your calories and, you know, you're consistent with it, and, you know, you're doing it for a long time, you're seeing results, I highly recommend / suggest / must incorporate movement, because you want to have a healthy lifestyle that's going to go beyond the diet. As I've said, it doesn't just stop. Well, I don't know what happened at the end of the video. It just cut off at the end, and I'm having to refilm this little bit after, like a day later, because I've go to edit it and I'm like, where did that bit go? So I'm here now, finishing off what I was saying, which was literally the last minute or so of the video. But basically I'm saying that you want to be able to do this as a new lifestyle, to continue sort of living a normal life where you haven't got to sort of be worried about, you know, doing a certain amount of movement or eating a certain amount of calories or certain amount. You want to be able to just live a normal, maintainable life where it's just a normal everyday life where these things are just normal habits, and you want to just implement these things where they're just natural, you know, naturally moving, naturally eating a good amount of food, a good variety of food, the right type of food, not too much of the bad stuff. Yes, you can enjoy bits here and there, obviously, but there's a right balance, and there's a right amount of, you know, the right level of balance, because that's key to just having a normal life, just doing, you know, what you know works, but also living a normal life, not having to stress so much about it, because you can't just constantly, you know, keep losing weight or constantly try to, you know, just constantly keep going at that same rate of sort of, how can I say it, like results where you just push and push, keep. Yes, you want to get results in other fields, like for me, example, I want to sort of build more muscle, get stronger, but that is not as sort of, that takes a long time, but this takes a long time. There's no like rush, there's no like I need to, there's an end point. For example, like losing weight, there's an end point. So mine is, there's no end point now. This is a new thing, where that's what I say about movement and exercise and just being active. You can just do that, you know, on and off, on and off, on and off. You just keep doing it. But then obviously diets, you can't do it like that. You know, you need to do it for a certain amount of time, then it sort of comes to an end. So that's basically that. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments if there's anything you want to know. Yeah, just let me know if there's anything you want to know, and just let me know if you want to sort of hear about anything else, because I'll be putting up loads of different videos of different things. Just thought I'd just cover these 3 main topics, just because I thought they're quite important. Because, you know, going back to what I've said in previous videos, if I was to look on a channel and see something like this from someone who's been to a point for where I was, it would be sort of quite helpful, because, you know, to know that someone's been at that point to where they are now and how they sort of went about it, it should hopefully be a good benefit. So I'll catch you in the next video. It'll be something different. So yeah, give us a thumbs up. Let us know if you like it. If you're not subscribed, please do subscribe, because there's plenty more good stuff to come. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.